Warning. This program may contain material of an explicit or graphic nature. Viewer discretion is advised.
Broadcasting undead from the B Ward, this is Mortem. I'm Dom.
And I'm JD, and today we're going to give you the top 5 most fucked up documentaries of all time.
Yeah.
Little detour from the mainstream horror things that we like to do and go to something, like we said in the beginning, this podcast is going to be about anything horror, extreme, or disturbing, and it doesn't get more fucked up than real life sometimes.
Yeah, for sure.
I would like to say that some of my documentaries are worse than any horror movie. Make a Serbian film like it's produced by Disney.
Truth is stranger than fiction, as they say.
It is. It fucking is.
Yeah, it's actually going through this, I was doing some research to see if I forgot anything. I actually saw a documentary I hadn't seen before that made my honorable mentions, but not my list. That I'll talk about later. That kind of applies to our last episode. No, episode before last, the Haunted Houses one with Jason.
Oh yeah. You were telling me about that. Yeah, I gotta check that fucker out. Yeah, we'll talk about that when we get to our fucked up documentaries. But first, we gotta go through a little bit of horror news. Horror news. Horror news is my least favorite segment now.
We went off on it on the last episode, though. We had like a half-hour horror news.
Well, it's because these things are pissing me off so much. It's my least favorite segment, not because it's a bad segment, but because of the fucking things we're talking about.
Yeah.
It's horror bad news.
It's
horror bad news.
I think I've got all good news this week.
That's good.
I had a decent week. My life is getting itself back together, so I'm in a better mood.
I have a fucking horrible piece of news.
Oh, yeah?
I have a news that I'm not sure about, but it's probably mostly bad. And then I got a good news, so pretty well-rounded, but fuck, I need some good news.
Yeah?
I need some good horror news in my life.
You want me to kick it off?
Go for it.
My first piece of news is that Jordan Peele, star of Mad TV and Key and Peele, has released a trailer for his upcoming horror film Get Out, and it looks very interesting.
I saw it. It's fucking awesome.
Yeah, the IMDb synopsis says very little. All it says is that a young African-American man visits his Caucasian girlfriend's cursed family estate. That's it. The trailer looks like it has something to do with mind control and enslavement and has a very psychological element to it. I'm really interested in this. Key and Peele, for all of its absurdity, delved into some really, really dark territory sometimes, and apparently Jordan Peele was largely responsible for that. And in an interview with Rotten Tomatoes, he said that he's obsessed with the dark side of things and also with the undeniable link between comedy and horror, that both are designed to affect the viewer on a gut level and draw a visceral response out of them. He said that while the movie's going to be horror, he approached it from a satirical angle, so there will be comedy involved. He's a smart guy and clearly has a passion for horror, so I'm hoping that this turns out to be something on par with, Tusk in terms of horror meets comic insanity.
Yeah, and the trailer looks ultra serious.
Yeah.
It doesn't look too funny,
but if he's approaching it from a satirical angle, then there's probably going to be those bouts of insanity.
Yeah.
And I also really like to see that it's kind of like a progressive horror movie where the main protagonist is a black guy, but it's not like a hood horror movie.
Yeah,
usually,
exactly.
Usually it's something set in the ghetto. Even the people under the stairs was set in the ghetto.
And it goes to that. It's basically like a racist horror movie. Not racist in itself, but
it's about horror about racism.
Yeah, so it's a horror of racism. Yeah. Like it's a black guy going to the place where he's not accepted with the white girlfriend.
Yeah. And all the black people seem to be under some sort of spell or something. It's like the Stepford Wives. But instead
exactly. That's what I was going to say.
But with black people,
Hypnotism.
Yeah.
It's like there's a hypnotist in the trailer, too.
Right, yeah.
So there's something going on with that. To where basically they're like zombies, but then sometimes they have well, they're like people, but they're like mind control zombies,
Right.
you know?
Real zombies.
But sometimes they say, like, we gotta get out of here, or something, like when they're like baking cookies or something.
Yeah,
like,
they have like that one moment where they're doing something and like a single tear runs down their face.
Yeah.
But they've got this huge smile.
Exactly, yeah. So that was pretty creepy. And, you know, he's a creative guy. And we, as we said in the past, is creativity, I'll take over budget, over special effects, over anything, you know. If this is a creative concept, I'm looking to see where he goes with it. I'm going to see it in the theaters.
Absolutely.
He's going to get the financial backing because of who he is. I'm sure it's going to be a mainstream theater movie. And I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be pretty good.
Yeah, it's going to come out early next year. So I will definitely be there seeing it too.
Yeah, and like you said about progressive, you know, it's a black protagonist who is not, it's not Snoop Dogg's Hood of Horror. It's not Leprechaun in the Hood. It's not
Bones.
It's not Bones. It's not, you know, there are some, you know, Van Horizon.
Yeah.
You know, there's some good ones, but I like to see, you know, black people not always being portrayed as like ghetto in horror movies.
Exactly.
In horror movies, traditionally, the black guy is a drug dealer, ghetto, and that's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, or he's got like a Jerry Curl mullet and a switchblade.
yeah.
Too many enchiladas.
ooh, baby. Too many fucking enchiladas. Demon. That was on my, what was it, what was that list with the supporting characters?
Yeah.
What do we call it?
Yeah.
Call it something else, but
Secondary characters or something
like that. Yeah. It was a good list though.
Yeah.
You guys should go back and listen to that one. But yeah, it's called Get Out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Looking forward to it. So. Something I'm not looking forward to. I've done a lot of bitching, moaning, and complaining about Reanimator Evolution with my arch enemy Sergey.
Your nemesis.
My nemesis. I'm going to give Uwe Boll a pass.
Wow.
Uwe Boll is number 2 now.
He is a number 2.
He is a number 2, that's correct.
You know what, though? I think if you told him that, it would piss him off even more.
Yeah. I'm not your most hated.
Yeah. I must be the number 1!
I imagine him like a fucking douchebag version of Werner Herzog. You know, like Werner Herzog is such a character in himself, you know.
I've seen interviews with him, and like he did a couple YouTube videos where like he, you know, talked shit to his critics and stuff like that, and he's very full of himself. He's got a doctorate in film. So he always refers to himself as like Dr. Uwe Boll.
Remember, so we're researching this. I've been watching a lot of documentaries because I've been on a documentary kick, but you know, our bitching about the Neon Demon, Nicholas Winding Refn.
Yeah.
And then I showed you that, well, we didn't watch it, of course,
right?
But that he made a movie called The Life of Nicholas Winding Refn about himself. Fucking pretentious
jerk off. Probably has that NWR fucking watermark through the whole movie. It's just
got an
90
NWR,
minutes of that.
NWR tramp stamp. Watermark right above his butt crack. But back to the topic here. I've bitched about Sergey. I have something new, Reanimator, to bitch out that does not involve Reanimator Evolution.
What?
Yeah.
Like someone else is trying something?
Yeah. Having explored the world of H.P. Lovecraft in several previous features, Italian writer-director Ivan Zuccon is taking a crack at the character Stuart Gordon made famous, Herbert West, Reanimator. He sent along exclusive photos and a few words on the project. This is from Bloody Discussing, this article. Eschewing the streak of black humor in Gordon's Reanimator, his adaptation is played straight shocker, with no humor, in which Herbert West's desire to conquer death is motivated by the loss of his daughter, as seen in flashbacks. The project will be a very long journey, Zuccon tells Rue Morgue. We've just started by shooting the first 5 minutes, which we're going to use as promotional teaser for the movie until beginning of official production next summer. There's photos on Rue Morgue and Bloody Discussing, which shows Emmanuel Sermon, who's been in a couple of this guy's movies in the past, as Herbert West. He's got long black and gray hair and a beard, and he's Herbert West. Okay, that bothers me.
Yeah.
And Valentina Benvona as his daughter. Also visible, if you look closely, the reagent is in a syringe, which is blood red instead of green. He says, my West prepares several versions of the Reanimator fluid, each with a different color. So we have a red one, a blue one, a yellow one, and of course the famous green fluid.
Oh, they're Otter Pops?
God damn it. You can look for more on Herbert West Reanimator in an upcoming issue of Rue Morgue magazine. Or you can't.
Right.
You don't have to.
Just skip it.
You're not forced to. You could just skip it. You could order the magazine and burn it before you read it. That's what I would recommend.
Wipe your ass with it or something.
If you have a subscription to Rue Morgue, just burn the magazine when it comes in next month.
You know,
this is bullshit.
Herbert West Reanimator, the story was serious because Lovecraft didn't write comedy.
Yeah.
And
I'm okay with that.
And the movie was definitely like a departure from the story in terms of a lot of things, because the story actually followed more like West's friend and assistant and all that. But and so if someone was just going to be like, all right, I'm going to do Herbert West Reanimator as a film that's, you know, more
exactly like Lovecraft.
Yeah. But
that's what the fucking Sergei said about his movie that was just a different zombie movie he slapped a fucking title on.
But to even try and like put Stuart Gordon and Brian Yesna's work in your mouth when you're making that, you don't need to do that.
Yeah,
like
you don't need to. Same with this guy.
Yeah.
Oh, mine's going to be different. I got different colors. I got a rainbow of syringes. Fuck you, dude.
Fuck. Yeah, you know,
seriously,
just like be chill. Be like, yo, I'm making Herbert West Reanimator.
Yeah,
you know, and like
this guy does not have the chops.
Yeah,
you know, that's the thing. Is like if somebody was going to touch it and approach it from that angle and make it ultra serious,
like Guillermo del Toro or someone.
Yeah,
like that,
or even fucking dude who made the Fede Alvarez and Don't Breathe and Evil Dead.
Oh, he would make a great version.
I would still not be so into it because they're touching my fucking holy Reanimator with their grubby little hands, but. These two fuckers and their pretentious fucking quotes, the quotes they give about basically saying like, fuck the original movie.
Yeah.
This is going to be so much better.
Yeah.
Watch my movie. Fuck that shit.
Yeah, that's unnecessary.
I got different colors, bitches. Fuck that, dude. Seriously. If I hear one more piece of Reanimator news, I'm going to blow my fucking brains out.
Wow.
If I hear one more person touching my Reanimator in places I don't want it to be touched, I'm done.
Wow. Well, in more Reanimator news,
I'll never watch a horror movie again.
You're just gonna start watching like Christian spiritual movies, and
I'm just gonna watch the original Reanimator on loop,
nonstop until your eyes burn.
Not watch anything new. God damn it! All right, what else you got this week?
So in a recent interview regarding her new Underworld movie, actress/producer Kate Beckinsale was asked about a rumored crossover in the movie involving Blade. Beckinsale said that the idea was considered, and they even approached Marvel about it, but Marvel declined because they are busy and doing something with Blade. What this means is not completely clear. It could be a movie, it could be a TV show, it could be a Netflix series, who knows. But what it does mean is that Marvel has not forgotten about what I think is one of their best film properties. And if they give us more Wesley Snipes killing vampires, I'll be so fucking happy. Yeah,
they're gonna pay off his taxes.
He's out now. He's good.
Oh, he is.
Yeah. I mean, he did that Gallowalkers movie. He's done a couple of movies since he's been out.
Okay.
And he's back in shape now. I saw some pictures of him recently. But if Marvel's passing up an opportunity to make money on someone else's buck because they've got something in mind, they've been fucking killing it with the Netflix shows. I would love to see a Blade Netflix show.
Hey, man, it's just not right. We gotta use Wesley Pipes.
Wesley Pipes.
God damn it. Yeah, Blade is cool. Underworld in itself, I should like it more than I do. It's not that great to me.
Well, the first Underworld got fucked up because they tried to make a movie that took a bunch from White Wolf Studios' vampire games, and they did it without permission. They basically tried to do it and then ask for forgiveness.
Yeah.
And White Wolf said, "Yeah, sure, we'll forgive you. We want this much money." Yeah. And they were like, and so they went and they fucking chopped it all to shit, and they took all the stuff out, and that's why the first one was a mess of a movie. The second one I thought was good, and then they just went downhill from there.
Yeah.
But it's all Kate Beckinsale in tight pants with guns, so I can't hate on it too much.
She's pretty hot, and the thing is, it's not a horrible, okay.
I would ask her permission before I grabbed her pussy.
God damn it. Fondling Trump. It's a fucking rating system.
Right there.
I fucking hate that motherfucker. Anyways, back to the topic. We're not the political podcast. We're the horror podcast. Let's get back to the horror.
Right.
So, I'd also ask permission.
Yes.
And, with the budget they had and, the tremendous amount of effects and everything, if it just was better made, I don't know if it's the direction or the story. Probably it's the story.
The dialogue's kind of
dialogue.
In the second one, it's okay, but after that, the dialogue got hokey as fuck.
Yeah, but they still had potential. It had potential to be something.
Right.
They got the stepdad from Shaun of the Dead, you know?
Yeah, that's right, yeah. And it's been the same production crew making the movie the whole time, and like Kate Beckinsale has stepped up to produce them for now.
Yeah.
So like these are like passion projects.
Yeah.
So
Blade, back to the Blade.
Yeah.
I will watch that. Blade 1 is good. 2 and 3 I don't think are good.
I fucking love 2. I think 3 is like...
Is that the Triple H one?
No, that's 3. 2 is directed by Guillermo del Toro.
Vampires.
my vampire chihuahua. I thought Blade Trinity was funny.
Oh, 2 has the things that, like, the Strain, basically.
Yeah.
Like, it's the same vampires as the Strain.
Yeah, that's where he, like, started with that concept, yeah. 2 is my favorite in the series.
Yeah, well, we'll see. I'm 50-50 on it. I'm not convinced. We'll see what they do with it. Marvel has been starting to make, and DC starting to make, like, R-rated comic book movies and shit like that with the fucking Suicide Fucks.
Yeah,
and all
the success of Deadpool and all that.
Yeah, with Deadpool. And so hopefully it'll be good and R-rated.
I just finished watching Luke Cage on Netflix.
Is that good?
It was excellent. And
I've heard it.
It was excellent, like, not even from a comic book standpoint, but from the fact that it's a blaxploitation setting where the guy just happens to be mostly invincible.
Yeah.
But, like, the point of it isn't his... I mean, his superpowers are a point of it, of course, but it's not like a flying around superhero movie. It's just a fucking street vigilante movie getting revenge for his friend getting murdered, and then, like, there's a political thing going on behind him. It's like Shaft.
I'm going to check it out.
Yeah.
So, Bubba Hotep and Phantasm director Don Coscarelli is promising fans of the cult classic film he's still interested in doing a sequel to the Bruce Campbell picture. Don Coscarelli may be best known for his work on the Phantasm series, but Bubba Hotep was about Elvis Presley, who was looped into being an Elvis Presley impersonator. He traded places with the impersonator because he was done with the fame in a fucking retirement home. He teams up with an old black guy who claims to be JFK to destroy a mummy.
Black JFK.
That is a good concept on
And
paper.
doesn't he have, like... It's been a while since I've seen Bubba Hotep. Doesn't he have, like, something wrong with his dick, but it, like, gives him powers or something? He has, like, a boil
Bruce
on his...
Campbell?
Yeah, he has, like...
It doesn't give him powers, but yeah, he does.
Okay.
It's funny. The black nurse comes in, puts a syringe in it and shit.
That's right.
So he's now living in a retirement home. It's brought to life by Bruce Campbell in one of his best performances,
Oh, yeah.
I think.
Great.
Though,
Did you see the clip from Ash vs. Evil Dead where he has to go inside the dead body
in an asshole with his face?
Yeah, and like the dick's flopping around and shit. I think that was his best performance. I'm in the blood!
So Coscarelli was quoted as saying, "That was a film I really enjoyed making. We had it set up at one time with Bruce playing opposite Paul Giamatti as Elvis's manager, Colonel Parker. Unfortunately, that one fell apart. Elvis is eternal, though, and we'll get it done one day." But like any piece of horror news, it seems to be there's a slice of bad news to come along with this statement. According to Bloody Discussing, Bruce Campbell will not be playing Elvis in the sequel.
What?
It will be Ron Perlman, Hellboy / Sons of Anarchy.
I mean, I love Ron Perlman, but that's a weird choice.
Yeah, he doesn't even look like Elvis, first of all.
He looks like Tom Waits. Looks like Tom Waits on steroids.
Because reason being is not that they didn't want him, but he's tied up with Ash vs. Evil Dead and stuff, and so he can't do it. Hopefully he does do it. We'll see. But the sequel is going to involve vampires.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've been talking about that for like 10 years now.
It's called Bubba Nosferatu.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah.
Like, I want to see it, but I want to see Bruce Campbell. I don't want to see Ron Perlman. I like Ron Perlman, but...
It's gonna take a lot of suspension.
He does not look like fucking Elvis.
Right.
He looks like a gargoyle.
Yeah. Yeah, he looks like the Beast. Well, he was the Beast in Beauty and the Beast.
What else you got?
I got something that I think you're gonna like.
I sure fucking hope so.
A film adaptation of John Bachter's award-winning 2012 graphic novel "My Friend Dahmer" is in the works.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Did I let you borrow that, or you?
I haven't. Yeah, you told me about it. I haven't read it yet.
Today.
Yeah. They've already cast a kid named Ross Lynch, who started out as a Disney star, to play young Jeffrey Dahmer, and they put pictures of him next to Dahmer, and he looks like him.
Cool.
The two look very similar on a purely visual level, so it's going to be good casting. The graphic novel's creator is very excited about the casting as well. He's seen some of the stuff that happened on set, and he said, "I don't think you're going to be able to see the teen heartthrob in this role." Anne Hesh is going to be playing Dahmer's mother, Joyce Dahmer. It's directed by...
She's got some chops. She's a weirdo, but she's got some chops.
Yeah, she was in the Psycho remake that was really good, and a couple other things.
I do not think the Psycho remake was really good, no.
I enjoyed it.
I don't like it.
It's directed by a guy named Mark Myers, whose movies I'm unfamiliar with. The script was written by Myers with input from Backderf, and it made the 2014 Blacklist.
Oh, nice. Yeah. And My Friend Dahmer, if you guys haven't checked it out, it's like a novel-length comic book, like graphic novel about going to school and being friends with Jeffrey Dahmer prior to the killings, and it gets into that
stuff. Yeah, Backderf
too.
Was actually friends with him in junior high.
Yeah.
So it talks about that. Filming began in July in Akron, Ohio, in Dahmer's actual house that he grew up in.
Wow.
Yeah. No information has been released on distribution yet, but it's happening.
What do you think about the Dahmer movie with Jeremy Renner?
I didn't like it.
I love it.
It
doesn't get too far into when he started. It's more of a backstory movie, but I liked it.
I mean, he was good. I just didn't. It played too much like an indie film.
Yeah.
And that kind of bothered me. But it was better though than the other Jeffrey Dahmer movie, that came out the same year. The people who released like the Ed Gein and they did like a whole string of serial killer movies.
Oh, it's a shitty cover art.
Yeah, the Night Stalker movie that looked like a Marilyn Manson video and all that.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's fucking.
Yeah, they did a Jeffrey Dahmer movie that was pure ass.
Well, serial killer movies are not that good traditionally. Like, there's not a lot of good ones.
Like Summer of Sam, except for the dog part. I hate that movie. That dog should have fucking ended up on our list. Oh well.
Yeah, he. With the serial killers, there's traditionally not that many good movies.
Right.
Henry is fucking awesome.
Yeah,
that's
Henry's
probably
great.
the best one in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah,
the best serial killer movies are fictional, like fucking Hannibal and shit.
Yeah.
So I hope that this will do it some justice. And that's why I like the Dahmer movie, because it's like the piece of corn you find in a turd. It's not as bad as the turd, but it's still kind of shitty.
I think I may have to go back and watch it again, because I saw it when it first came out on video. And it let me down because it didn't get into the part of Dahmer's life that interested me, which was like the whole part about like the kid that got out of his house and the cops like found him and he lied to the cops and said like, it's my boyfriend, he's drunk.
No, they do get into that. That's right where it ends. Like, it doesn't show the trial, it doesn't show anything.
Right. Yeah, and like it's all that stuff that's the stuff that interests me.
It shows that part though.
I'll have to watch it again then.
Yeah, I'll let you borrow it.
Okay.
It's passable.
Okay.
And I don't say that about a lot of serial killer movies,
Right.
To me, the best, we'll get into that later with the disturbing documentaries.
Right. Though I am looking forward to this H.H. Holmes movie that's coming out.
Yeah.
With DiCaprio. I want that.
All right, I got another piece of horror news here. A new film by Troll Hunter director Andre Avredal called Autopsy of Jane Doe is getting great reviews.
Troll Hunter was excellent.
I like Troll Hunter. It's cool. Comes out December 21st and stars Brian Cox from Red and Offspring, the two Jack Ketchum movies. He's been in a bunch of other shit too. He's the police chief or in Super Troopers. He's like the lead, not the chief, but what do you call it for fucking highway guys? I don't know. Who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
Emil Hirsch from Killer Joe.
Nice.
And Ophelia Lovabond from Guardians of the Galaxy. Follows two coroners who are a father and a son. When they receive a mysterious homicide victim with no apparent cause of death, they attempt to identify the Jane Doe and discover bizarre clues that hold the key to her terrifying secrets. You can watch the Red Band trailer on Bloody Disgusting, and it looks great.
Cool.
Brian Cox is a terrific actor, and I'm really looking forward to it. The trailer does not give away... Who knows what the plot of this movie is, but there's like demon kind of shit and zombies and things jumping out and all this stuff, but how does this corpse do that? And she's still on the table. It's not her doing it.
Right.
She's just making shit happen, like the corpse of this
Like
girl.
the corpse is haunted.
Yeah, basically. Something like that. It's really weird. It looks cool.
Troll Hunter I thought was going to be stupid as fuck.
Yeah.
And it's called Troll Hunter. Come on. But then someone, I don't remember who, but someone I really trust in movies was like, no, you got to see this movie. So I watched it on Netflix one night and I was fucking riveted by it.
Yeah. They're remaking it.
Yeah.
US version.
I thought it was going to be a stupid sci-fi style movie.
Yeah.
Like Sci-Fi Channel. But,
it's like a fake documentary kind of thing. Yeah.
But they did a good job.
Well, we'll be back with the good movie and the bad movie before we get into the top 5 disturbing documentaries.
Hi, thanks for listening to the Postmortem Podcast. If you want to support us, go to our website at www.postmortemshow.com and click the Amazon link.
By clicking on the Amazon banner, Amazon will give a small percentage of the purchase price of your item back to the Postmortem Podcast at no additional cost to you. That's right. Doesn't cost you any money. We get money. You want us to keep doing this? You want more Doug Jones talk? You want more dick and fart talk? I don't care. We're gonna do it.
Fund our filthy, filthy habits.
Yes, and they are many and they are fast.
And most of them aren't legal.
Yes. Click the banner. Just do it.
Come on, don't be a dick. Give us money.
Alright, we're back, and like I said, before we get to the top 5 most disturbing, fucked up documentaries you ever saw, we got the good movie and the bad movie.
It's time for the good movie. And the bad movie.
Indeed. I got a pretty good movie. I mean, well, not great, but we'll see how you like it once you get a chance to watch it. And I got a pretty shitty movie, so.
I got a pretty shitty movie.
Why don't you start us off?
All right. My movie, actually both of my movies are from 1990, inadvertently.
Wow.
It just sort of happened that way. But my bad movie is called Dead Girls. Not Dead Girl, about the zombie in the basement that the kids fuck, but Dead Girls. It's directed by a guy named Dennis Devine, who I actually wouldn't have watched this movie if I knew this in advance, but I found it out later when I was doing some more research on it. He directed the movie Alice in Murderland.
I've never seen that either.
Don't. It's
I wouldn't, based on the title.
It's zero.
It's zero.
It's so fucking bad.
How do these people get to direct more movies when they're so bad?
Yeah, and this guy's been doing it. Like, if you look up his catalog, he's been doing it for a while. I think he probably directs porn, because like most of his actresses look like porn actresses.
Oh, yeah.
So he probably gets the money doing porn and then does this. This movie is slightly better than Alice in Murderland, but only slightly. The plot line is that an all-girl, except for the drummer, quote-unquote dark metal band, takes a vacation to a cabin in the woods after a cult led by the lead singer's sister attempts group suicide while listening to their music. A masked maniac shows up and starts picking the band off in ways inspired by their violent songs. As the death toll rises, the band becomes paranoid and turns on one another, thinking the killer is among them.
Is it the sister?
Well, actually, it's not. There's actually one thing that saved this is it has a pretty cool twist at the end that I won't blow.
Cool.
The acting in this movie is universally bad, but there are some standout performances. The band has this sleazy agent who's fucking awesome. He's like, I think he's Japanese, but he talks like he might be from Texas, so he's like Joey Wang Yang, but his accent is bad, and everything that he says, his dialogue is horrible, but he's just such a scumbag. Like, you know that this director deals with scumbags in Hollywood all the time, because he wrote him perfectly. And also, the character Nancy Napalm, who's the band's bassist, she's pretty rad, because she's a weapons-obsessed paramilitary expert and Buddhist. She's like G.I. Jane / Zen master. So she's like polishing a grenade launcher and like spouting Zen parables.
That doesn't make much sense.
Yeah, but she was pretty cool. The writing is a mixed bag. The story started out interesting, but the dialogue is awful. They don't pull any punches, though. There's an incest subplot. Like, yeah, if the director came up with something that could be fucked up, he went there.
Yeah.
And that's another thing that saved the movie. As far as the film work, it's standard fare, but the editing is really, really bad. It's so fucked up and choppy that sometimes it looks like you're watching like scenes from different movies. You know, like they'll go outside from the living room to the front area of the cabin, and like it's suddenly a different time of day. Like, they didn't do any control for that.
Yeah.
There was no lighting. There was just like, let's go out to this camera and film.
Yeah.
Or go out to this cabin with a camera and film, and it's bad. The score, though, is awesomely weird, and I think it's especially weird because the version I saw was ripped from an old VHS tape, so it sounded kind of warbly and distorted. But it was like this combination of traditional horror strings and then like heavy metal guitar, and then it would turn into this weird like fast noodling jazz. So, you know, there'd be like, you know, they're doing a build to something, and you'd have like the woo 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 strings, and then like it'd come around the corner and the killer would be there and be like, and then there'd be a chase scene. It would be like boom 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 jazz.
That's cool.
Yeah. Because it was all warbly on the VHS thing, it really reminded me of just like, you know, watching a movie when I was 10.
Yeah.
You know? Special effects were decent for the obviously low budget. There was a good amount of blood, but there wasn't a lot of gore. There was just like, swing the knife, blood splatters everywhere.
Yeah.
But there wasn't any real viscera or things cutting off. The real sin in this movie, though, is that they repeatedly tease nudity and never deliver the goods.
That is a problem, especially when you have shitty actors with their porn stars.
Yeah.
You need to see some fucking nudity.
Yeah. And especially if they're going to tease it, like, it's coming. Like, there's a part even where a girl's like, there's a lake out by the cabin, and they go to, like, this girl goes off to the side to tan, and she's, like, taking her bikini off, and, like, they make a point to film it so that, like, it's real. Like, you see her undoing it, you see it come down, and just as about to come down, cuts away. And then, like,
horrible.
It'll shoot her from the side, so you just get a little bit of side boob. If you're going to include incest and blood splatter and, all the other, like, they talk about fucking mass suicide and all kinds of shit in this movie, why not show the tits?
A nipple is fucking too taboo.
Yeah.
That's like, so the plot, when you first told me about, the black metal bands, fucking mass suicide and stuff like that sounds pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then until you say a mass killer comes, then it sounds stupid as fuck. And then you put the cherry on top.
Yeah, exactly. This movie had a lot of potential, but it fell flat way too many times, and it ran way too long with too much, like, bullshit in between. Like, there was a subplot with a nurse that didn't go anywhere. She was, like, obsessed with, because the sister went with them on the trip because she needed to rehabilitate, and so the nurse was obsessed with protecting the sister, and, like, maybe you thought the nurse was the killer, but then she wasn't, and the guy had some ideas, and then he had cocaine. and it fucking ruined everything. This was the 90s when cocaine was kind of on a downturn, and it wasn't making things gloriously insane anymore, and this is what you got. So I'm going to give this movie 3 out of 10 for the music, for Nancy Napalm, and for the potential that it had, but everything else is off the board.
3 out of 10 fondling Trump.
Fondling Trump.
We gotta make it better.
3 out of 10 reanimating Otter Pops.
3 out of 10 Herbert Westone reanimator Otter Pops. I like it. I don't think I'd even give it a 3 though, based on your description.
Yeah.
But I got a bad movie too. We talked a lot about, you didn't like The Conjuring 2.
Right.
But we talked about how the nun was a cool character. We talked about how the Crooked Man was a character.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Sci-Fi Pictures capitalized on this and made a movie called The Crooked Man.
Really?
2016 sci-fi original picture directed by Jesse Holland, starring Angelique Rivera and Michael Jai White.
Really? Like Dynamite.
The Crooked Man.
He was the Crooked
Spawn.
Man?
No, he's not.
Oh, okay. Spawn versus the Crooked Man would be cool.
While at a slumber party, 12-year-old Olivia is blamed for the horrific and mysterious death of her friend after singing a song created by a reclusive mastermind, Milo, played by Michael Jai White. So it's like a little music box. And if you sing with it, it summons the Crooked Man. The demonic figure known as the Crooked Man. Returned to her hometown 6 years later after being released from a mental institution.
Turns out the Crooked Man because they stole the idea.
Yeah. A string of unusual deaths lead Olivia to believe that she's still being haunted by whatever she saw that fateful night. Once you sing the rhyme, everyone in the house is cursed to die by his hand.
When you sing the rhyme, it's dying time.
That's a much better catchline.
Yeah. I should make posters for shitty sci-fi movies.
I'll do the art.
Yeah.
See my graphic with Biff's head on the shark?
Yeah.
Or on the T-Rex riding the shark? I'm a graphic artist now.
Yeah, fucking A.
This is not your usual sci-fi pictures bullshit, I will say that. It's much better than 9 out of 10 of the sci-fi movies, production-wise.
Okay.
Like, it has probably a little bit more of a budget, and they really are doing it because it's Halloween time. It just came out. You can watch it on Comcast On Demand. That's how I saw it. And it's been playing on Sci-Fi a bunch, so... It did piggyback on the Conjuring 2 concept, though. So that's kind of a minus for me.
It's like Transmorphers.
Yeah, Transmorphers. Independence Day, but it's spelled Independence is wrong. It's Independence, like TS. Have you seen that?
That's fucking terrible.
It's horrible. And it's piggybacking off of the shitty sequel, too. I watched that. It's not good.
Yeah.
Watch Resurgence. It's horrible.
That sucks. I was excited for it.
It's terrible. I didn't even get through it.
Wait, Jaden Smith's in it, though, right? Will Smith's son?
I don't know, but David!
He's in it?
No, he's not.
Freddy Krueger?
Our Freddy Krueger, the guy from Independence Day.
Harvey Firestein.
Harvey Firestein. David, I gotta call my lawyer. The Crooked Man himself is sort of like a Doug Jones version of the Slender Man. When I was always watching a Marble Hornet story, remember I reviewed that about the Slender Man played by Doug Jones?
Yeah.
He kind of blinks in and out
Right.
with the camera. It's kind of like that. He flashes in and out every few frames. He's creepy, almost reminiscent of Jack the Ripper, like his top hat and his trench coat and stuff
The
like
Babadook.
that. Mixed with Doug Jones, mixed with Deborah Logan, because he's got that mouth thing.
Okay.
He's got that long opening mouth thing going on. And he growls for some reason like a dog.
I think they just sampled a dog.
Yeah, it's just...
Biff doing voiceover work.
No, Biff's got a high-pitched little bitch bark.
Oh, yeah, that's right, yeah.
So, Angelique Rivera is competent in her role as the lead for the most part, although most of the other acting is questionable. The gore is hit and miss, but mostly miss. They took some concepts from Lights Out, in that the Crooked Man can only live in the dark. So it's like they fucking stole Conjuring 2 and Lights Out and made a movie. Wow. The Crooked Man's only alive in the dark. I would say this movie is a combination of many different movie ideas, such as Lights Out, Conjuring 2, Always Watching, and I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Even a little bit of Hellraiser, like the music box is like the puzzle box.
Yeah, it's so fucking stealing from other shit, you know? Although it combines the concepts from many different movies, it lacks its own ideas and creativity. It went longer, I became less and less impressed, and even the Crooked Man himself started to lose his appeal. Michael Jai White, Spawn, is a very minor part of this movie. You only see him for a couple of minutes, but he's like the headline actor, you know?
It's like kind of Bill Moseley.
The Bill Moseley syndrome, yeah. Fuck. The issues with the story are many, but the biggest one to me is that if the Crooked Man's going to kill everyone who was in the house when they read the rhyme, why the fuck would he wait 6 years till this chick is out of a mental institution? Why don't you just kill him? You could have killed them all that night or any time at all. Also,
spared us a shitty movie.
The ending of this movie is fucking stupid. It is stupid. I'm not going to spoil it in case you want to waste your time on this, but yeah. IMDb gives it 5.6, which is pretty strong for Sci-Fi Pictures.
Right.
But I would have to give it almost middle of the road, 4.5. I would have given it an additional point if they would have used the Dukes as the Crooked Man.
Yeah.
Doug Jones as the Crooked Man could have saved the movie.
Or Javier Botet, maybe.
Yeah, maybe Javier Botet too, but he was the...
Oh, he was the Crooked Man already,
He was in Conjuring, so they're not going to use him.
That'd be funny. That'd be funny if, like, they had Javier Botet play it, and then, like, Doug Jones played it, and then we could have a celebrity death match. Who was the best Crooked Man?
Doug Jones wins.
Yeah, my money's on the
Dukes.
Dukes. He doesn't have any degenerative disorders.
4.5 Dr. Herbert West Old Fashioned Rainbow Otter Pops.
All right.
Well, let's get to the good movies.
I finally watched The Gate 2. I've been talking about I'm gonna watch it. Hadn't got around to it.
Good, huh?
I finally
I don't
watched
remember
it.
anything about it.
Yeah, it's it was when we did our sequels episode. That's when I found out that it existed. I didn't even know that they had made it. And when I came up with my idea for what The Gate 2 would be, I was like, okay, cool. And then I was looking some other things up, and then I saw The Gate 2 synopsis, and I read it. I'm like, oh fuck, that's my idea.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
cool. Well, then it's going to be okay.
If you guys haven't heard that episode, I think it's one of our best. We did the episode which was
you lost your goddamn mind on that episode. It was great.
Yeah. Movies that need a sequel, and in addition to saying what movie we think needs a sequel, we gave you a synopsis of the movie. My list is a little strange.
Yeah, I was trying to pitch serious sequels, and you were like, "Let's just make the most awesome thing ever."
Well, that's serious. The most awesome thing ever is serious.
Yeah.
Anyway,
especially if you're 13.
Yeah, yeah. My movies were pitched from a young JD mind.
Yeah, a little bit of regression, but it was great. So yeah, The Gate 2 was also made in 1990, directed and written by the same guy, Tibor Takacs. And the synopsis is, following the events of the first movie, Glenn has moved away, and the now teenage Terry is left to his own devices. He's become a loner, obsessed with the occult, regarding his past interaction with demons as the most interesting and exciting time of his life.
Is he the nerdy kid?
It's the same kid.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
But as a teenager.
That's awesome.
Terry's life has become a bit of a mess. His dad's now a down-and-out unemployed alcoholic. He has no friends. He's picked on by local bullies John and Mo. The only positive thing in his life is that that John's girlfriend Liz, who's played by Pamela Adlon, who was Kelly on TV's The Facts of Life, seems to have taken a liking to him and tries to make John and Mo take him seriously. After doing some research, Terry realizes that the reason things went wrong before was because he and Glenn summoned the demons the wrong way, and that if he summoned them the right way, he could get them to grant him wishes and give him power. So he returns to the ruins of Glenn's old house and performs a new ritual to summon the three lords of the underworld. John, Mo, and Liz interrupt his ritual and make themselves part of it, and the lords send them a wish-granting minion. But there's a problem. The wishes have a shelf life, and eventually the things that they wish for literally turn to shit.
Wow.
Like, I wish for $1 million, you have a stack of money, but if you don't use it in time, it turns into a pile of shit. And there's a great scene in a restaurant where that happens.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's real cool. On top of all of that, the Lords of the Underworld are slowly beginning to possess John, Mo, and Terry, so it becomes a race against time for Terry and Liz to shut the gateway that they open between universes before the Lords of the Underworld take over completely and summon their demon hordes to Earth.
That sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
I've seen it. I was the one who told you it is a movie.
Okay.
You know, remember?
Yeah, is that what it was?
It as a sequel. I'm like, dude, it exists. And I remember watching it as a kid, but I don't remember anything about it.
Gotcha.
So I'll recheck that out.
Yeah, I've got it. I got it. So I'll get you. I'll get it to you.
Okay, cool. Yeah, we did Nostalgia Killers. That was the first Nostalgia Killers segment. So you guys give us some feedback if you like the Nostalgia Killers. Good movie, bad movie. Tell us what you want more of, you want less of. You know, we'll adjust accordingly.
That's right.
Or as long as you don't say...
Or we'll tell you to fuck off.
Yeah. Or as long as you don't say, we want more Ooey Bowl.
Yeah.
We want more Reanimator sequels.
we want segments where you give Ooey Bowl's movies positive reviews.
That will never happen.
Yeah. So the writing and the story for this movie are solid. Cox knew what kind of story he wanted to tell, conveyed it well. The characters that you were supposed to like were likable, and the more antagonistic characters still had reasonable motivations that kept them interesting.
Okay.
So there were characters that were douchebags.
And you got Terry still, too.
Yeah.
He was my favorite part of the
Oh, yeah. And he's still fucking great.
He is.
The acting is okay. John and Mo are kind of like cheesy, stereotypical 80s, 90s punk types. But Terry's awesome as fuck. Liz makes for a good it girl. And the standout performance in this movie is Terry's dad. In the beginning, he's a down-and-out alcoholic. He was a pilot who fucked up somehow and lost his job and just took to drinking, and things weren't good. But as Terry's wishes start to affect him, he goes through several distinct personality changes. And even when he's at his absolute lowest, he's still a character that you can super identify and empathize with.
That's cool. It's kind of like the grandpa in Lost Boys.
Yeah.
I always thought he stole the fucking movie.
Yeah. His dad was the same way.
Besides the dude with the saxophone and the chains. he was number 2 behind that guy.
That guy was the man.
I still believe.
If I ever get not fat, I want to be that guy for Halloween. Just get some purple tights and oil myself up.
Yeah. Some chains and a saxophone. You're in business, baby.
Straight up.
He's still playing.
Yeah, he's still
buff
videos
too.
from
the fucking convention down south, and he was playing that song. He goes on tour playing only that one song.
Just that. That's
yeah.
all. I mean, he's like a big deal in Europe. Like he's
got
help
like Tina Turner and shit.
Yeah.
Anyways, this is not the fucking Tim whatever his name is. His name is Tim something.
Yeah. Back to so the cinematography in this movie is very cool. It's very much a bridge from the 80s to the 90s. Like when Terry does his ritual, he incorporates computers into it and lasers so that it's like this weird techno-hermetic ritual. He has to make like a triangle, but instead of drawing it out, he programs it into the computer and it shoots this laser triangle around him.
It's like Hellraiser Bloodline.
Sort of, but it's actually like lasers on purpose. Like, they're not trying to use lasers as a shitty effect. They're like, no, Terry understands technology. So he's using lasers as part of his ritual.
No, Hellraiser Bloodline.
Oh, yeah.
They make,
yeah. Exactly, yeah. But it's blue lasers.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Sweet.
Problem, though, special effects are bad. They tried to go with the same stop-motion effects as the first movie, but it was very clear that the budget for the sequel was significantly lower than the original.
The budget for the first one, or the effects were bad in the first place?
And this one, they're worse. They blur, and they look really choppy and disjointed. There's some good prosthetic effects for the demonic possession part, but the stop-motion stuff is like that era's equivalent of bad CG.
Yeah.
It's just a mess. So the movie itself is an entertaining sequel to a very good original movie. It's definitely a worthy sequel. Mid-grade acting and goofy effects, it still held my interest for its 90-minute runtime. It's not a great movie, but as far as sequels to 80s horror movies go, it's definitely one of the cream of the crop up there ones.
Wow, cool.
So I'm going to give it 7.5 out of 10.
7.5 out of 10.
Herbert West,
Old-fashioned.
multicolored, old-fashioned, reanimating Otter Pops.
Fuck you, Reanimator. Fucking touching my Reanimator. The best movie of all time. Not just my favorite. Universally recognized. It won every award that year. Every Oscar. Best Picture.
It did.
Lead Actor. Supporting.
It won the Golden Globe. It won the Tony. It wasn't even on stage and it won the Tony Award. It won a Grammy.
It won a Grammy for the soundtrack.
It won a Nobel Peace Prize for decapitated head oral sex.
It did. It won the AVN Award that year for that sex scene. All right, my good movie was. I wish it was better, but it still classifies as a good movie. So, Lights Out.
Okay.
2016, based on the short, also written and directed by David F. Sandberg, starring Teresa Palmer, Gabriel Bateman, and Maria Bello. When Rebecca left home, she thought she left her childhood fears behind. Growing up, she was never really sure of what she was, what she wasn't, and what was real when the lights went out. And now her little brother Martin is experiencing the same unexplained and terrifying events that had once tested her sanity and threatened her safety. A frightening entity with a mysterious attachment to their mother Sophie has reemerged, but this time, as Rebecca gets closer to unlocking the truth, there is no denying that all their lives are in danger once the lights go out.
Ba-da-da. Yeah, you gave me a little bit of a play-by-play when you first started the movie, and you'd kind of said oh, this is good. Oh wait, it's not good. Oh no, this is good. It's not good.
It really ping-pongs me, so.
I'm on this emotional roller coaster with you.
I was really looking forward to this based on the short. The short was awesome.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Sandberg knows creepy, and he knows tension, too. This movie is filled with jump scares, and the Diana monster is creepy, but always in the shadows. My major problem was the face in the short film didn't pop up at all. You know, in the short film, it's always in the shadows.
Is that weird, troll goblin kind of face? Yeah.
No, this is always in the shadows. So even when it's in the light or whatever, it's a shadow character, like a silhouette. It has minor features like they really darkened it out. I want that. I'd rather have it be to where she goes into the light for a second and you see what she looks like. She's all fucked up, and then the light burns her or something and she retreats. You know, that would be better.
Right.
But this is just a silhouette.
Just
it's
a walking,
shadow puppets.
Yeah.
Shadow puppet hauntings.
Puppets.
It's like Pee Wee Herman. The shadow puppets. It's like that. You know, you'd still be scared of it, but man, I want to see that face from the short. The short, that was the best part, you know?
Yeah.
Boom, 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 boom. You click the light on, click it off, it gets closer and closer, and then all of a sudden, it's right there.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, it was fucking great. But this movie is not as good as the short. The short was better. So, I know that they did not show her face as a plot device because the light hurts her. But I would have loved to see her full for a frame before she hopped back into the shadows. Even if it was one instance in the movie that showed her for just a split second. Just enough to see her for a second.
Yeah.
But it didn't happen. Another problem is that although Sandberg nailed the creepiness and the jump scares similar to the short, the filler they needed to make a full length is just your typical horror movie churned out by the machine.
Mm-hmm. That's what I was worried
the
about.
Plot and the dialogue and stuff like that. It's just
something that worked better as a short film.
It's just average. Right. It's very average. Besides the creepy intention, like the short film. The short film doesn't have any dialogue.
Right.
You know? So he's got that part.
Yeah, it just gets to the fucking meat.
He just needs to get better as a storyteller and a director. Or
work with other people's scripts or something.
Yeah. I've always had the hots for Maria Bello, but I did not like her acting in this at all.
Huh.
Also, the daughter, Rebecca, was kind of an annoying bitch to her boyfriend, which kind of looked like a broke-ass Bam Margeras from Jackass. He looks like that dude, but the trailer version of him, or the B version of Bam Margeras.
There's a couple cheap versions of other actors for a while there. Elias Koteas was the cheap Robert De Niro.
Yeah, he's the broke-ass Bam Margeras.
Aw.
He kept trying.
He's the Will Hosley of this movie.
he's a fucking Will Hosley.
He's Jam Bargera.
Bam Margeras. He kept trying to like do things nice for her. She kept shutting him down. There's a scene near the end involving him that I really think would have been better if they went the direction it seems like they're going until they changed it up. I don't want to spoil it since it's brand new, but if you see the movie, you'll know what I'm talking about regarding the boyfriend. Although for everything he did right, there's something else I took an issue with. It's a good first effort from a promising director. Now that he has the funding, and this movie was a major success monetarily.
Right.
They've already signed on for Lights Out 2.
Okay.
They already said, like, here it comes. It was one of the highest grossing horror movies of the year. So, I'm not really looking forward to the sequel since the concept wasn't enough to carry out the first one.
Right.
And now it's a sequel. Hopefully it'll be better because
maybe they'll bring in a new writer or something.
Or just because maybe you'll learn.
Yeah.
You know? But, however, I'm looking forward to see what he can do with studio backing in his next concept.
Yeah.
Something else.
Right.
Not Lights Out 2, but whatever he does next.
His next opus, whatever his project is.
IMDb gives it 6.6, which I'm going to have to just, the first time ever, just flat out concur with IMDb.
Huh?
Give it 6.6 of Dr. Herbert West's old-fashioned Rainbow Reanimator Otter Pops.
Nice. Cool. I'll still watch it. You know,
It's better than most of the shit you're going to see.
Yeah.
You know, it's not a 5, it's a 6.6, so
Right.
it's, at least it's worth watching. But
slightly above average.
speaking of things that are worth watching, after the break, we're going to come back with a top 5 fucked up, disturbing documentaries.
Learn you something.
We're going to learn you some real life. This is the real world, post-mortem edition.
The real world. B-Ward.
B-Ward edition. Oh, yeah, you know, I got here today, you know, I met Doug Jones, I met Dennis, I met Dom, you know, I met Biff the dog, he started humping my leg, and I didn't expect my ex to be here. You guys totally swerved me, like, you know, you pulled up the curtain, now my ex is in the other room, and Doug Jones's ex is there, some dog Biff used to fuck wandered in.
And now they've been talking about dicks for the last 90 minutes.
Now we all have to work at a smoothie store. I don't understand it. Why do we come on here? Now we're working at a smoothie store for minimum wage, but we don't even have to pay our rent. You guys are paying us a lot of money. I should have been on Road World.
You know,
Road Rules post-mortem edition would have been better, bro.
I should get a camera crew to follow me when I start my new job. I'm going to be working, for the audience that don't know, I'm going to be working at an old folks home as an activities director. Yeah. Like, it's going to be my job to keep old people entertained.
Yeah.
That needs a fucking camera crew.
You know,
I got the job because I got the job because I'm awesome, but like at the job interview, I jokingly said like I could rap for the old people too. And like the lady's going to be my boss, and then her boss were both like, "Wait, you can rap?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, actually I can." They're like, "Rap for us." And so like I busted out something for them, like from my old catalog that doesn't have any fucking F-bombs or, you know, drug references in it. And they're both like, "Okay, awesome." So I totally got a job working with old people because I can rap.
So that's the foot in the door. You guys are going to go to our first ever live show in November here in Santa Maria at Leisure Time Games.
Yep.
The second ever live show is going to be at the old folks' home. We're going to do it only for them.
The pre-mortem show.
The pre-mortem. It's in the E ward. It's going to be nice. We'll do it. We'll record a clean dialogue post-mortem.
Right. In like suits. We're going to dress like Mormons. You can wear your JD Mormon gear.
I will.
Yeah, I'll get some.
And we'll only review movies that are from like the 30s.
Right.
You know, some old school shit.
Frankenstein, some Vincent Price movies or something. Things that they know. Oh, they're such nice boys. We're going to turn into their podcast next time. What the fuck?
We'd probably get sued. People would die. There would be deaths involved.
It would be good press.
All right, well, we'll be back.
Post-mortem show, the show that kills old people.
We kill people. Listen at your own risk, bitch. We'll be back with the top 5 disturbing documentaries after this. We are proud to announce the first ever post-mortem live show, November 19th, 7 p.m. at the Santa Maria Town Center Mall.
That's right. Post-mortem, live and uncut, like an uncircumcised baby.
Yes, indeed.
As opposed to a dead uncircumcised baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or a dead circumcised baby.
Yeah, that's true. I guess you beggars can't be choosers. Anyway, this show is happening at 159 Town Center East in Santa Maria, California. At the Santa Maria Town Center Mall.
Santa Maria Town Center Mall, main level. It's in Leisure Time Games. Leisure Time Games is a local comic book and trading card game store. Any kind of game other than video games that are gracious enough to host the first ever Post-Mortem live in front of an audience podcast.
They're going to regret this.
They may. Hey, he listens, so don't say that too loudly. We won't be coming at you undead from the B ward. We will be live.
And if you want to come watch JD get real drunk and me pop a bunch of pills and slam energy drinks.
Well, the problem is they don't allow beer in the mall, so I'm just going to have to drink heavily before.
Okay.
So I'll walk in trash.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right, you guys, if you can come out, if you're anywhere in the Central California area, or if you want to fly in, it's a free show.
That's right. Not charging a dime for it.
November
You
19th.
get what you pay for.
Yes, indeed. As always with Post-Mortem. And we're back! With the top 5 fucked up, disturbing documentaries.
This is a fun list.
It is a fun list, and it was near and dear to my heart because if there's something that I like almost as much as a good horror movie, it's a fucked up documentary.
Yeah, telling you about the real shit that happens in the world. The shit that we watch horror to forget about.
Exactly, yeah. And some of the stuff that you never could have even imagined.
Yeah, for real.
All right. You want to start us off with this one?
Sure. My number 5 is not a deep pull.
Okay.
It's a very shallow pull.
Okay.
But it's an important pull. Because it may be the one that's... Actually, it's not the one that started it all, but it's the one that started it all. Come on. Mondo Cane.
Oh, yeah. Oh, for sure.
Classic
Mondo
Italian...
Cane, Mondo Magic, Mondo anything.
Yeah.
Weird shit.
Yeah.
Blowing smoke up a girl's ass with a funnel to get rid of the demons. There's demons in that ass.
Demons in that
That's
booty
the wrong
hole.
accent.
Yeah, it's, weird Italian documentary about weird shit that happens in the world. And the Mondo Cane was the first one, and it had them, at the ossuary brushing the skull's teeth, and it had the flagellates running through the street, cutting themselves with glass and whipping themselves.
Yeah.
All
Weird shit.
Yeah.
I mean, if you can't say... You could say Faces of Death is the most iconic, disturbing documentary,
Yeah.
but the Mondo series is... It could be the other. And
But Mondo series was more accessible than Faces of Death.
That's
also.
true. And I saw Mondo Magic when I was like fucking in 9th grade or something.
Yeah.
And my friends would watch that shit. Very weird. A lot of dick.
A lot of dick in that movie.
Flapping
Yeah,
around.
but it's like National Geographic dick. It's not like Faces of Death. They're smashing the monkey's head with
Kind
a
of
hammer
when
and
you're
shit.
watching it and you're like, I don't know where I'm disturbed by the monkeys getting smashed by the hammer, or the smoke of the ass, or the size of that guy's dick. I can't compete, bro.
There were some pretty big floppy dicks. Yeah, I guess that's what happens when you don't wear pants.
Got 2 feet of dick.
Dragging on the
The
ground.
fucking weight hanging off of it, a boulder, tied to a boulder. They do that thing where they tie him to horses. And the horse runs away, but they keep
Drawing
the guy
quarter
and
dick.
just stretches it out.
Do you know who the amazing Mr. Lifto is?
They put those rings, like the girls' necks.
On their dicks.
No, who's their amazing...
So, in the late 90s, there was this thing called the Jim Rose Circus, and they went on tour with Nine Inch Nails and like all kinds of shit. It was basically like a traveling freak show. Jim Rose was a fire eater, and he would do the things where he would put the needle through himself and all, so his face and all that. Mr. Lifto's trick was that his dick was pierced, and his dick was strong.
Oh, and he'd pick
And he
shit
would
up.
just
weights
he'd
shit,
hang
stretch
weights
it.
and then he'd swing them around, and he'd like helicopter whatever it was. He'd like helicopter a toaster attached to a chain or
Wow.
something. Yeah. He probably has a dick like those guys now.
I'm thinking your list is going to be more disturbing than mine. I went with the top 5 that I really like, and I've watched a bunch.
Uh-huh.
And my honorable mentions, a lot more of them are fucking weird ones.
Right.
You know what I mean? That are like and really fucked up. So, is that all you got to say about Mondo Cane?
Yeah.
My number 5, and also all my movies except for one of them you can stream on Netflix.
Oh, nice.
Or Amazon.
Nice.
I went with everything that's accessible because I really want people to seek this shit out. So Netflix or Amazon, and the more obscure, crazy shit is in my honorable mentions because
Okay.
you can't access it. But My number 5, it just got added to Netflix streaming. It's called Tall Hot Blonde. Do you see that shit?
I haven't seen it, but I saw that it was there.
You gotta watch that movie.
Yeah.
It is really fucked up.
It's about the porn industry, right?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, what is it? There's a good one about the porn industry and the girl with the glasses that I beat off to religiously. Hot Girls Wanted. That's a good one.
Oh, okay, that's right. That's one that I was thinking about.
That's a good one. You should watch that too. But it's not disturbing. It kind of is, but... Oh, feel bad for me because I chose to do porn.
Right.
And get paid.
I don't.
Tall Hot Blonde is a movie about 3 people, essentially. 4, if you count like a swerve. 3 people. And they play a game like backgammon online. Some kind of fucking game like that. It's like chess or backgammon. It's not chess. It's some kind of game that's like that, like those mobile games. Mm-hmm. They have like chat rooms for it. And there's a guy called Marine Sniper starts talking to a tall, hot blonde. But also, tall, hot blonde starts talking to another guy called Beefcake. Beefcake and Marine Sniper both work together at a corporation. Like, they're all real people.
Okay.
And they're all close. And things develop, things get extreme, and things that you could never imagine end up happening. And it gets fucked up.
Really?
It gets pretty fucked up.
It's a documentary?
It's a documentary. It's all real, and all the real people, except for one, are interviewed. Or except for, some of the real people, I should say, are interviewed and give their account of the story.
So do they reenact parts of the story, I take it? Or is it...
They reenact it in a way that it shows the chat log.
Okay.
And there's the actual messages.
Right.
It's not like they're just like, this is what happened, okay, we're making a false chat log. They downloaded, like, the FBI and shit, downloaded all the fucking chat logs, and they show you exactly what these people said with the boop noise, boop, boop, with the message. It's good, dude. You gotta watch it.
Okay.
You'll enjoy it.
I've
seen it 3 times.
Wow.
And I don't see a lot of documentaries that many times, but if I'm bored, I got nothing to watch, I see that fucker pop up, I'll watch it. Because it's fucking weird.
Wow, I'll check it out.
It's the kind of movie that makes you wonder how the human mind works.
Okay.
You know?
Cool.
Like, how can...
Like, how does a situation this fucked up happen?
A lot of my polls, I'm not going to be able... Like, Mondo Kane, you can say, oh, smoke goes up the ass, and these guys swing fucking weights off their dick, all that kind of shit.
Yeah.
You can say that because it's just a visual thing.
Right.
A lot of mine have a lot of twists and fucked up shit that I can't reveal because I would spoil the documentary for you.
Gotcha.
But you need to check out Tall Hot Blonde.
Cool. Sounds good.
Number 4.
My number 4 is Eileen, the Life and Death of a Serial Killer.
Yeah, it's pretty fucked up.
It has her last couple of interviews that she did before she was executed. Yeah. And just peering into the mind of that fucking insane woman.
Who would even go in the car with her?
That was my next question, actually. Like, you ask, like, because of Tall Hot Blonde, how does the human mind work that this situation happens? Like, you take one look at that fucking beast, and you're like,
I'm not talking about her looks.
No, I'm talking about something's wrong with her.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, in the head, like, her eyes are just...
Yeah.
Ugh.
She has the air of a fucking serial killer.
Yeah.
Like, if you look at pictures of someone like Dahmer, he doesn't really he does give it off, but she's got the Gacy and the fucking Albert Fish reenactments and that kind of stuff. Like, she's got that kind of vibe to her.
Right.
Like, I don't want to be even near her.
Yeah.
Let alone...
She's clearly disturbed.
Even though Charlize Theron took our germs.
with her wobbly prosthetic neck.
Even though that kind of shit happened, like, even though they made it a big budget thing, if you watch her in her interviews, it's bad.
Yeah. This is my only serial killer documentary actually on the list. Out of all the serial killers documentaries I've watched a lot of them. Yeah. That was the one that I think disturbed me the most in terms of, like, the person, because that's her. Like Charles Manson, you can watch a Charles Manson interview now and just laugh at him. Like, he's sort of become a cartoon caricature of himself.
And I think he kind of plays it up too.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. He's exactly where he wants to be right now. But watching Eileen Wuornos talk,
she does not think that she's done anything wrong. Yeah. First of all,
but she cops to what she did. She just doesn't think there's anything wrong with it.
Yeah, exactly.
Staring into her eyes is staring into the abyss.
It also, like, honestly, to be honest with you, with her being abused by fucking Johns, as you would call them.
Right.
And stuff like that. I don't think there's anything wrong with her killing me there. But she's fucked up in the head.
Yeah, for sure. That it's like just staring into her eyes, staring into the abyss.
Exactly.
And it stares back, and it's scary as hell.
Yeah. I would never want to make eye contact with her.
Yeah.
My number 4 is a movie I just recently saw that inspired this whole list to me. It's called The Imposter. It's on Netflix.
Yeah, I haven't watched it yet because I wanted to hear you talk about it first.
You need to watch it. I'm not going to talk much about it. I'll tell you the premise, right? There's a man in Spain that is arrested by police. He needs to provide an identification. He does not want to provide his original identification. He's 23 years old at the time. He instead wants to pose as a minor. And the way he does this is for some reason, I don't know if the cops in Spain are fucking stupid, but this is all a real story, and every person involved is interviewed.
Okay.
There's reenactments and interviews with the real people. That's what makes it so much worse. He calls the United States from Spain looking for missing persons, missing children. Finds one, right? With no description or anything. He's posing when he calls as like a police officer in Spain.
Okay.
Because the cops couldn't identify him, they make him stay the night in the office and just lock the door. But he has access to a computer and a phone and a fax machine and shit. It's really weird, right?
Okay.
But they just
They didn't put him in a cell? They just
lock him in the office because he's supposed to be a little kid.
Okay.
He's supposed to be 15 years old at the time, but he's
Okay.
actually 23. I don't know how anyone would believe that based on the way he looks. You know?
Right.
He then calls the United States, finds a missing kid who's been missing for enough time to where he think he could be, and it's the first one they even suggest. You know, we've got a kid here, blah blah blah. Can you please tell us? They direct him to the Center for Missing and Abused Children or something. Mm-hmm. And the first one, they're like, I can't believe it. He says, I can't believe it. It's him. It's him. He's been missing for like 4 years at this point. He's a kid. You know?
Okay.
So he could be the 16-year-old, but not the 23-year-old. He should have fucking delved a little deeper.
Oh, I know this story because they send him, right?
The family
is
contacted. They send him to go live with the family. You know, they pick him up from the airport. And the whole time he's shitting his pants, wondering what's going to happen. And they pick him up and they say, "Oh, we've missed you."
Then they just take him in.
And, yeah, but things are not what they seem, and shit is fucking crazy. And you got to see this movie.
Okay, yeah,
you got to see it.
I know the story from. I remember the news reports of like when all that stuff came out.
He was on fucking because he told people he was abducted by like an international sex ring and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And they interviewed him in like fucking Dateline or 2020 or Geraldo, one of those kind of shows.
Right.
They interviewed him about that, and he went on national television as a fucking imposter.
Yeah,
giving his account of these fake stories that he made up that are fucked up. Like the things he comes up with, it's like it's almost convincing and it's horrible.
It's like when Henry Lee Lucas was talking about the hand of death. And,
and you got to see it. So you guys, I'm not going to give away any of the twists because there are a lot of twists in this movie. Yeah, I gave you a basic premise. Takes maybe the first 20 minutes of this movie, and it's about an hour and a half.
Nice.
And you got to see it. So if you like fucked up documentaries, you got to check out The Imposter. It's streaming now on Netflix. I've watched it twice. I watched it, then the next day Aubrey came home, and I told her, hey, we have to watch this. Like, I watched it the night before. I started watching it at like 11:30 at night just to pick something and go to sleep, and stayed up till like 1 in the morning watching it all. And then the next day when she got off work, I'm like, I have to show you this. I want you to watch this, and I want your opinion on it.
Cool.
And I had to show it to her.
Nice.
So
Michelle likes fucked up documentaries. Maybe I'll watch it with her tonight.
You should, dude. You should watch it with her. So that's my number 4. What's your number 3?
My number 3 documentary that I'm quite fond of.
Okay.
It's called Cropsy.
Yeah, it's on my honorable mentions. Yeah,
I really like that documentary. Yeah.
Have you seen the other one they made?
About the legends. Yeah, not as good.
Yeah.
Interesting also, but not as like deep and dark as Cropsy. For those of you who have not seen Cropsy, Cropsy is basically a boogeyman legend on one of the islands off. I think it's Staten Island. Staten Island legend, boogeyman legend.
How you doing?
I'm from Staten Island. And
You can't teach that.
Cropsy is 0 dimes.
I accidentally played the fucking... made my little joke. I played the cymbals.
Played the cymbals with it. Cropsy is a boogeyman legend in Staten Island. He's the crazy escaped mental patient who lives in the woods and, abducts children and all that. And the director went to go make a documentary about this legend and ended up tying it to some true crime that happened in the area about a guy who worked at the mental hospital that used to be there. And when it got shut down, they sent all the mental patients basically out to the streets, but they all came back. And this one guy who was an orderly there and spent most of his life there, actually, sort of became their de facto leader. And there's like this society of mental patients that live in the catacombs under Staten Island.
Not just that, but the actual treatment they received in the mental hospitals is deplorable.
And now,
it's fucking horrible.
There's this society of mental patients living down there. They have children. And like every once in a while, Child Protective Services has to go down into the tunnels and find these children who have been raised by homeless, insane people, and pull them out and reacclimate them into society. And it's terrifying and fascinating as fuck, and like it sounds like something that would be totally in a horror movie, but it's real life. Yeah. And then there were some child abductions that happened in the area that they tried to pin on this guy, and how he, it sort of analyzed it, because the Cropsy legend came before him, but he sort of fell into it, so it sort of analyzed how like fiction bleeds into reality. Yeah. And it's a very, very fascinating documentary.
Very good. I give it 5 stars on Netflix.
Absolutely.
It's very good. You guys need to check out Cropsy. So, my number 3 is a tie. 3 documentaries, all made by the same man. John Borowski makes serial killer documentaries, and his Albert Fish and Sin He Found Salvation, Carl Panzram, and H.H. Holmes, America's First Serial Killer, are all streaming on combination of Netflix and Amazon. They used to all be on Netflix, but
the only one I haven't seen is the Albert Fish one.
That's the best one.
Yeah. H.H. Holmes one was fantastic.
Yeah, H.H. Holmes is great. Carl Panzram is, I'd rank him Albert Fish, Carl Panzram, H.H. Holmes.
Yeah, the Panzram one was great too.
Serial Killer Culture is good too. It's another one.
Yeah, I've seen that one.
Yeah, that's a really good one. But it's not disturbing. It's about the study of serial killer impact in culture and
art and media and stuff.
Macabre, who was gracious enough to give me my theme song, was in that as well. So Albert Fish and Sin He Found Salvation. I love how John Borowski in his documentaries, he reenacts scenes, and they're just as disturbing as what's being talked about. Yeah, and he has voiceover work of people who are the killer. Yeah, like a first person perspective from the killer.
He brings in actors to represent them.
In addition to I wish I would have wrote down the narrator's name, but the narrator in his movies is one of the greatest of all time. Yeah, I know he passed away recently. I feel really bad I can't put his name out there, but if you guys are listening, you can comment on our Facebook thread, tell us who it was. And you guys need to see John Borowski's films. H.H. Holmes, America's First Serial Killer.
Fucking fascinating.
Albert Fish and Sin He Found Salvation is my personal favorite. And then Carl Panzram is great.
Cool. Yeah, I'll have to watch the Fish one. Yeah, the Panzram one. God, Carl Panzram is scary. Just an angry man.
He is. Yeah. And the
he butt fuck people to death.
Yeah, the
butt fuck people to death.
He's raped over 200 people, he said, or something, and killed people. He's fucking crazy. Yeah. And he wants to be bad, Yeah. And the end of the documentary is my favorite part. They have this acoustic music that's about Carl Panzram. Yeah. It's really good. So that's my number 3, a 3-way tie between all of John Borowski's serial killer documentaries. Great movies. Might not be as disturbing as some of the things my honorable mentions, but easily accessible. You guys can seek them out. Amazon, Netflix. If you do, make sure you give it a good review so you can get some more funding and more people watch it.
Yeah, he's independent.
I want him to make another one. Yeah.
Awesome.
Number 3.
Number 2.
Number 2.
My number 2 was almost my number 1, but number 1 impacted my life a little bit more. Yeah. So my number 2 is The Nightmare.
My number 2 is also The Nightmare.
Nice. All right.
The scariest non-horror movie I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And,
terrifying.
And I've said this before, I have sleep disturbance issues. And I was having them really, really bad right around the time that I, about a year leading up to, and then about a year after my divorce. Like, I was having these horrible... It wasn't sleep paralysis for me. It was something called exploding head syndrome, which has a great name. But, like, as you're falling asleep, because you're under so much stress and your body's so fucked up, your faculties shut down in the wrong order. So my hearing would shut down last. So as you're falling asleep, you can actually hear, like, all of your ear muscles relaxing. And it makes this crazy pop sound. And because you're half asleep and you're in fight or flight mode, it causes all kinds of hallucinations that go along with it. Like, for me, it wasn't just a pop, it was like a crash and a scream. And then, like, at one point I woke up and there was, like, this dude dressed like a plague doctor standing over me and shit. Like,
what the Mechanical Ghost album.
Yeah, it's what actually ultimately inspired the Ars Moriendi album. Having experienced that and having read about sleep paralysis because of my interest in ghosts, and a lot of ghost accounts are actually sleep paralysis. Yeah. And then going into watching this documentary, it was just fucking fascinating to watch.
Well done. Yeah. The thing about it I love the most is you have the first-hand accounts. This is my favorite style. You can have documentaries that are all first-hand accounts, documentaries that are all reenactments. Yeah. I love the combination of the reenactment with the first-hand accounts.
Being narrated by the account, yeah.
Narrated by the person who actually experienced it with a fucking reenactment. And this shit is terrifying. Yeah. It was... I hadn't been so scared of a movie in many years when I watched it.
Because and it actually, like, stays with you.
It stays with you. I watched it 5 times.
They make the parallels to, like, the shadow people theory and all that, because all of these people have the same visions.
Yeah.
It's like...
And there are a lot of things you've heard before, like the Slender Man and the silhouettes and someone on your chest, a demon on your chest and all this shit. It's so relatable to all the things that people from... the dawn of time have told in different
something
cultures.
That's ingrained in our psyche. Like,
we're not talking about United States. We're talking about Africa, Europe,
Japan.
We're talking about Japan. We're talking about everywhere. You know.
I don't remember because I've watched so many other documentaries about it. But do they talk about the actual sleep death that was the inspiration for Nightmare on Elm Street in The Nightmare also, or is that a different?
No,
movie?
I think that's Never Sleep Again.
Okay.
Yeah. That's a good one too.
Yeah.
But not disturbing because it's about a movie.
Right.
So it's not. I didn't put it on my list, but. The Nightmare. If you guys haven't seen it, it's on Netflix right now streaming. You need to see it. Yeah. These movies we're talking about are in a pool of hundreds of movies. We're not going to do this topic again. You know, we're primarily a horror movie podcast, so when we're talking about documentaries, you know, what we're talking about, we weeded out. You know, I have a long honorable mention, but you need to check out Nightmare. You need to check out The Imposter. You need to check out Mondo Con.
Yeah, for sure.
You check out all this shit because they're good. It's a great way to waste a fucking hour and a half, 2 hours with these.
And learn something.
And something that might change the way you look at something. So, all right. Well, that's both of our number 2.
Yeah.
So number 1.
My number 1 is a 3-way tie also, but there are 3 documentaries that are part of a trilogy of documentaries.
Okay.
Called the Paradise Lost Trilogy.
Oh, yeah. Fuck.
That documentary, like... I saw that right when my mind was starting to, like, sort of really grasp the concept of social justice.
Yeah.
And for those of you who haven't seen it, go fucking watch these documentaries. HBO made these, and it tells the story. There's this place in West Memphis, not Memphis, Tennessee, but it was in a different, like, Arkansas or something like that, in an area called Robin Hood Hills. These 3 young 8-9-year-old boys were found murdered. They were strangled. They were bit. Their genitals were mutilated. They were fucked up. Yeah. And the town went into an uproar, and they immediately locked in on the 3 weird kids in town, the goth kid who practiced Wicca and his 2 friends, and immediately said, these guys are devil worshippers. They did it. And they took one of them who had poor mental faculties.
The West Memphis 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they coerced a confession out of this kid who's basically borderline retarded, and ran with it, even though all of the forensic evidence pointed to someone else entirely.
Have you seen The Devil's Knot streaming on Netflix? It's a movie about this.
Really?
It has, what's her name with the bulldog jaw, and she's got great tits, but she's blonde.
Tori Spelling?
No, she's got the bulldog jaw. She's Reese Witherspoon.
Oh, okay.
She's in it.
Okay.
Right? She's got some nice boobs, but bulldog jaw.
And forehead.
And big old 5 head.
Yeah.
Maybe 7 head.
Yeah.
We'll let you debate. But Devil's Knot streaming on Netflix.
Really? I didn't know that was... I saw that on there.
Movie.
But yeah.
It's a movie about this case. And it's very well done.
Okay, cool. I'll check that out.
And disturbing.
Yeah, I love this story. You know, the first documentary was just about sort of the crime and the uproar behind it. But then the second documentary, which is my favorite in the series, so one of the kids' stepfathers, like, said to the film crew, you know, hey, thanks for making this documentary. I want to give you this knife as a token of my appreciation. And so they took the knife and they went back to LA with it, and they were messing around with it, and they realized that there was some blood on the knife. So they went and got it tested and found out that it had the DNA of one of the kids that was murdered on it.
Yeah.
And so they do a secondary investigation, basically trying to exonerate these kids.
Too, yeah.
Yeah. And like they're like, well, we're going to bring in these experts to check the bite marks on the bodies, because the bite marks didn't match any of the 3 kids, and see who else it matches up with. And at the exact same time they did that, the stepdad went and got all of his teeth pulled out and got them replaced because they were rotting out of his skull. But he just conveniently did it then and there.
Yeah.
Like, all of this evidence starts pointing towards him. And then the third documentary covers the kids. The 3 kids ultimately, all of the evidence was mounting up saying they didn't do it. So their lawyers pulled the string and basically said, if they confess to the crime, but it's a no contest situation, they can be out of prison.
Yeah.
And the boys were like, yeah, fuck it, we want out of prison. We don't give a fuck at this point.
Yeah.
So they did it, but then they made the third documentary to be like, no, they didn't actually do it.
Yeah. Yeah, Damien Eccles, who's the lead kid, basically, like the goth kid, after he was released, he went on to do music.
Yeah.
You know that?
Yeah, he
did an album with Michael Graves, who was the second singer of the Misfits.
Yeah.
And it's actually really good. I prefer Danzig to Michael Graves, and I always will, as far as the Misfits. But
he
the
had his
acoustic
merits.
shit that they do is really good.
Nice.
And you should check out
Damien Eccles was a smart kid. Or smart man now. He's an adult.
Acoustic version of Dig Up Her Bones, which is really good.
Nice. Those poor fucking kids. They spent 18 years of their life in prison for a crime that they didn't commit.
Yeah. You guys gotta check out this Paradise Lost.
Yeah, if you liked Making a Murderer.
What's the second and third one called?
I don't remember what their
Paradise
subtitles
something.
were.
Paradise something.
Yeah.
But you guys got to check out. You can find Paradise Lost. I don't think it's streaming on Netflix.
No, it was an HBO documentary, so it might be on like HBO Go.
HBO Go, yeah.
But a lot of people watched Making a Murderer on Netflix last year, which was excellent. And was very well made, but like this is the documentary that inspired that.
I would say that Making a Murderer, it might be a controversial opinion, but wouldn't make my top 30 documentaries.
No, it was an important story, but in terms of well made documentaries, there were way better out there.
Yeah, not just that, but like some of the shit. We wait till honorable mentions, and then what's on our list. I think that a lot of this blows that out of the water. It was just mainstream because Netflix has when Netflix produces something historically so far, they're not putting their name on shit that isn't good.
No, their track record is excellent.
Everything they make is really good. So.
Yeah.
All right, my number 1 might not be as disturbing as the rest of the films on my list or on my honorable mentions, but it's disturbing because sometimes people are fucked up. Sometimes you can actually like them. There's a lot of bad stuff about them. There's some good things about them. But my number 1 is Hated, the G.G. Allen documentary.
It's a great documentary.
The highest grossing student film of all time. Do you know that?
I did not know that.
Todd Phillips, who directed this student documentary, went on to make Old School and Road Trip and a bunch of comedy movies. Yeah.
I didn't know it was the same guy.
It's the same guy who made G.G. Allen Hated.
Huh.
He made that as a passion project in college, and it was so good that he just blew up, and now he's a multimillionaire.
Wow. It's a great documentary.
It's a great documentary.
I really want Lucifer Valentine to make a biopic of G.G. Allen. I think if anyone could make that movie it would be Lucifer. So Lucifer Valentine, if you're listening, consider this.
Hank Skinny
as G.G. Allen. Living like a
I'll be Dino, the drummer. I'll be the naked drummer. I can't play the drums, but I guess
you can fake it.
I'll be the bass player. I'll be Merle.
There you go, with a mustache.
Yeah, G.G. Allen Hated. If you guys don't know about G.G. Allen, he was a punk rocker who would shit and throw it at people while he was playing.
He would take a bunch of laxatives before his shows.
Yeah, he would eat his own shit. He would fight his audience. He would cut himself, bleed all over the place.
He'd have to go to the hospital for sepsis because he would get shit in his open wounds.
Yeah, he would his spoken word is fucking great. He puts his head through a window and shit.
Yeah.
He would do these weird fucking things, but he was actually an intelligent human being and a reasonable person when he wasn't in performances. In performances, he was like, if you think of like people like Marilyn Manson, that's like Gigi Allen's like
light
little bitch. You know what I mean? It's
during the 90s, Gigi Allen was going on Sally Jessy Raphael and Geraldo and Donahue. And,
He had a following, like a cult following. And we say cult following like you follow a band or a movie. No, he had like a cult following to where people followed him, left their fucking families, left their jobs to go follow him on the road.
And it's still not clear, even through the documentary. Like, I mean, obviously, a lot of the shit that he was doing was real, but it's not really clear, like, how much of what he was doing was real and how much of it was an act, and how much of it was an act that he started to believe as he got deeper into it.
No, that's exactly what it is, dude. He was a nice boy.
Yeah. His real name was Jesus Christ Allen.
Yeah, when he started out, he was a hair metal guy.
Yeah.
He started a hair metal band, and his brother put acid in his donut. And he would never do drugs. He never drank.
Yep.
He was a straight edge.
Yeah.
And he was like 16. His brother Merle, who's the bass player, put acid in his donut. And he tripped the fuck out and got naked and kicked in all the walls and the windows and ran through the town. And that kind of shows you what he really was to be released later.
Yeah.
Because when Gigi Allen died, this is after the documentary. So, like, spoiler alert, Gigi Allen died in 1993. So it's not like...
Actually, his death, as it's documented in there, is fucking fascinating, too.
Yeah.
Because, like, he was like, in the middle of the show, he's like, fuck it, I'm done, I'm going to go kill myself. And he was naked. And then he goes and puts on his girlfriend's skirt and hails a taxi cab
and goes
fucking kills himself.
I have he did not kill himself. First of all, he said he was going to kill himself in 1990 on Halloween. He died in 1993.
Right.
He always started to kill himself. He did not kill himself. He died of a heroin overdose.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
I
At the
thought
end of the
overdose was
documentary, they
intentional.
didn't say like he went out like a true rock star with a needle in his arm instead of doing what he always claimed he was going to do. And the thing was, he at the last show he ever did was at the gas station in New York. This is not in the documentary, but I have the actual concert. The gas station, NYC. He did this concert, and then he said, "I've had enough of this. I'm taking this to the streets." And went out covered in shit and blood, completely naked with his tiny ass dick in New York City, and started breaking shit and going fucking ape shit crazy. And that's where the documentary ends, when it gets way fucking intense on the streets and stuff. Like, the random people are, which is not cool.
Right.
But then he went to an after party after that, and he overdosed on
Okay, I thought the overdose was intentional.
no one, I've never heard that.
Okay.
Yeah, but Gigi Allen hated. You guys got to watch this. If you're not a punk rocker or a punk rock fan, Gigi Allen is somewhat punk rock with his free ideals, somewhat of a fucking douchebag with his I'm going to punch people in the face.
Yeah, he's kind of a redneck. Like, he definitely has like a lot of country influence too.
Yeah, and he's a character, and it's a great documentary.
It's a psychological profile.
It is.
Have you seen? Is Hated the one that has the bonus footage on the DVD of his where they stole his body?
They didn't steal his body before. So at his funeral, they danced around with his body. He got buried in his jockstrap, covered in shit.
Yeah,
he used to wear a jockstrap in his contracts. Yeah, with his leather jacket and all this stuff like that. They took him out and were like pouring like whiskey down his throat.
Yeah, like he was still alive.
Dancing with them and stuff. And people, Gigi Allen fans go and shit on his tombstone.
Yeah.
That's like a thing. Like a tribute or something.
Yeah.
If you get shit on my tombstone, I'll be pissed.
Yeah.
I'll fucking haunt your ass.
Just be squatting over, your hand pops out and grabs him by the balls.
Yeah, so very controversial figure. I couldn't tell you I like him as a person, but his early music I like.
Yeah.
You know, if you listen to our animals episode, the last song was "Living Like an Animal," and that's Gigi Allen.
I'm interested in him as a person. I wouldn't want to hang out with him, but
and even to the point where one of my JD Horror shirts is like a parody, stealing his fucking wearing my head with the pentagram and shit, and because it's iconic.
Yeah, for sure.
And yeah. That's my number one documentary ever.
Nice.
Honorable mentions.
My first honorable mention is a documentary that I watched that I found doing research for this.
All right.
And it ties in.
Oh yeah, you told me.
It ties in with our haunted house episode.
Yeah.
It's called The Blackout Experiments. And basically what it is initially this documentary film crew set out to take 4 people who had never been to the Blackout Haunted House Extreme Haunt and interview them before and then have them go through and interview them after. And they just wanted to see what the experience was. But then and initially the creators of the Blackout Haunted House were resistant to talk to the documentary crew. They didn't want to be on film. They didn't want to reveal anything that happened in the Blackout Haunted House or anything like that. But it turned out that some of these people were a little bit psychologically broken. One of them had major failure issues. One of them had severe OCD. One of them was a former drug addict. And one of them was pretty much a normal guy. And when they went through and did the first run of things, the Blackout people heard about that and they were like, okay, like these people are serious. They're not trying to exploit what we're doing. They just want to chronicle it. So we're going to start feeding them some information.
Yeah.
So they let them follow the people through on their second time through and use bits and pieces of footage of what happens in Blackout, but very small snippets of it. And then it follows one of the guys, the guy who has failure issues, as he becomes part of this group called the Blackout Survivors. And they're all people who have had psychological issues, went into Blackout Haunted House, and it helped them kind of work through some of their issues.
I'm looking forward to go.
And then the final installment of it is, because the Blackout does these invite-only things.
Yeah.
So it follows...
So Amy, Jason's girlfriend,
It follows the failure issues guy into one of those, and then they do a special one where they come to your house.
Yeah.
And they beat the fucking shit out of you in your house. And it's interesting to see like what happens in the Blackout Haunted House. It's interesting to see sort of the 2 guys who make it. They're artists, and I don't know if they're psychologists like academically, but they're psychologists in terms of the way they think.
Yeah.
And how they customize it and like what they think is going. They actually say like at one point like, no, that's going too far. We need to pull back a little bit because that's just going to push them over the edge. Like they want to teach people something, or they want to help them some way. And the last. The home visit thing ends with them being like, you need to swear that this is your last Blackout experience, and like how they deal with the psychology of like, have I been rejected by Blackout? Did I fuck up, or do they think I'm done? Like, do they think I've gone on to the next level? And like on some level, like these people are kind of like, I don't want to use the word pathetic, but it's sad how dependent some of them become on it. But on the other hand, it's very interesting to watch, and you think, like, if Blackout is art and art is supposed to help people, like, it's not necessarily any more pathetic than, like, saying this band helped me through a dark time in my life.
Exactly, or a story.
Yeah.
A biography. Even.
Yeah.
Me and Aubrey are going to go to Tension Experience based on Jason's recommendation.
I'm doing Alone next year, for sure.
I'll do it with you.
Cool.
Yeah. I really want to hit these.
Yeah.
I'm into it.
And actually,
I'm glad we did that episode.
Now that I've seen it, now that I've seen the documentary, I don't know if I necessarily want to do Tension, because that's, it's my only fear is the head and neck stuff because of my neck issues.
Yeah.
But with Blackout, they ask you about that stuff, and if you can't handle, like if they know something's going to injure you,
like if you have a bone leg, they're not going to attack you.
Yeah, they won't do it. Like there's this one part where this guy has he had some relationship issues, and when he's in Blackout, he's in this room. And it's like there's a counter and a makeup mirror and the 3 lights, but it's dark. And then there's a video projector projecting pornography onto the wall. Uh-huh. And he's got a woman mounted across his lap, and she's in some sort of lingerie. And she's got a raw chicken, and she's making him fist fuck the chicken while talking about his commitment issues.
That's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, it's insane. But very interesting to watch. Yeah, you can watch it on Amazon for $5 right now. I streamed it, and it's very good and very interesting psychological piece.
Awesome. I'm definitely going to check that out. What about the rest of your honorable mentions? What else you got?
Another one that I have, and this is weird because you don't necessarily really think of it as a fucked up movie, but it is. Best Worst Movie, the documentary about Troll 2.
Yeah, I've seen it, but I don't remember it being fucked up.
There is one scene in there which is why like the whole documentary is not fucked up, but this one scene is fucked up. The actress who played the mom in Troll 2, when they go and find her, she's like this weird recluse who's kind of taking care of her mom, but that her mom has mild dementia, but that seems more like it's an excuse for her to withdraw herself from society. And you can kind of see that she's just become this horribly sad, broken person who still harbors these ideas of like making it big in Hollywood, but Troll 2 is the only movie she's ever done. Wow. And you can see like her eyes where there's just this total disconnect. And like,
just like
after,
wow. Yeah.
After that, the directors were like, we don't want to interview her again.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
Yeah, that was fucked up.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, it was sad, but yeah, very fucked up. Probably the actual original fucked up documentary, Haxan Witchcraft Through the Ages. It's a black and white documentary, I think.
It's
from
on Netflix now.
Is it?
It's just added
nice.
to Netflix.
Watch it.
I've never seen it.
Watch
it's
it.
1923.
Yeah, it's old as fuck. It's black and white, and it's not. It's more of a work of fiction than an actual documentary about witchcraft.
Yeah.
But what's fucked up about it is like it's a window into the mind of the way people thought, because it's basically like all women are bad. Letting women have power is bad. Men need to have all the power. Witchcraft is women power, so we need to stop people from practicing witchcraft.
Yeah.
And in terms of a glimpse into why people were fucked up, like that's it.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch it. Yeah, I didn't know it was a documentary.
Yeah,
Netflix is just a black and white picture. You can't even really tell what it is.
And then, of course, the legendary Faces and Traces of Death.
That's my last honorable mention.
Yeah,
and I say Faces and Traces too because Traces is much more extreme than Faces.
Oh fuck yeah.
I used to always, when I was in high school, so I went to the bad kid school. I got in trouble, a little bit of trouble, 10th grade. Went to the bad kid school. I was the only white kid. And fights right when I started there. That's the only white kid.
Right, you had to prove yourself in the prison yard.
I guess I just by choking someone out because I was in wrestling since I was in 4th grade. So then after that, it would be the thing where we'd go and have our extracurricular activities at my house while we watched Traces of Death, like every day after school.
Yep.
And watch these supposedly hard ass gangster kids recoil.
In horror. Oh shit, eh?
Is that your last honorable mention?
Yeah. I remember I was in 7th grade when I first saw Traces of Death. And it was at my friend's birthday, and like he got it on VHS. It was like a dub copy of a dub copy, so it was really
and it was Brain Damage Films, which is notoriously bad.
Yeah, bad.
We got a couple ones, but
it's
better than Faces of Death.
Yeah.
It should be more iconic. I don't know. I don't ever want to watch it again.
Yeah,
I'm through that. Now that I got kids and stuff.
Yeah,
like,
you don't want to see
I
that
don't
shit.
Want to see that anymore.
Like we all thought we were badass and hardcore, and we're like, we're gonna watch Traces of Death. This is
now look at how we are now.
Yeah, and then
like
my buddy's mom went to bed, and we put up the VCR and we turned the volume down really low. We're like, hey, and then it started. And we were like, everyone was just dead silent. And I don't even think we got through it that first viewing. I think we got about like maybe 45 minutes into it, if that. And like one of my friends was finally like, guys, can we turn this off? And like we were all thinking it, but no one wanted to be the one to say it. Yeah. And like we kind of gave him a little bit of shit, but then we turned it off.
All right, my honorable mentions. My first one, maybe the most mainstream disturbing documentary. I watched it in film class in college. Capturing the Freedmans. You ever see Capturing the Freedmans?
No, I've never heard of it.
You never heard of Capturing the Freedmans?
No.
You need to see that. It's about a guy and his family that he used to teach a computer class. And then eventually his son would teach that computer class with him. And all these reports are coming that they're touching the students.
Okay.
Like young students, yeah. And then
like pre-high school or?
I think like middle school.
Okay.
But then the son did it too. And the reports are against the son and the father. And the family banding together. It's weird in that this movie is filmed like they're the heroes. Like they're banding together. The way the documentary, it's always all this old school like footage of the kids playing, the family being so happy. It's a mind fuck. You need to watch Capturing the Freedom.
So are they touching the kids or is it?
I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah. I haven't seen since film school, like when I was like 19 or 20 or something.
Uh-huh.
And it was, yeah.
Wow.
It's fucked up.
So they're trying to paint a sympathetic picture of a child molester.
No, they're not. No, it lets you decide.
Oh, okay.
But the way it starts out, you don't even get that information until way into it.
Oh, I get it. Okay.
It's a mind fuck.
It's like what Lucifer Valentine did with Black Metal Veins. Where he shows you the junkies, and then he reminds you at the end that the junkies have a mom.
Yeah, and not just that, it's like you get these things, and then you almost feel bad for them like they're being falsely accused. And then more shit starts to boil in. You need to watch it.
Okay.
I'm not going to confirm or deny that they did it or not.
Right.
But you need to watch it. It's a fucking disturbing documentary.
On that note, Black Metal Veins should have been somewhere on my list. Or
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
me too. I didn't put it. Fuck, I didn't even think about it.
Yeah. Sorry, Lucifer.
Yeah. The Act of Killing. You see that yet?
Yeah. Wait, no, I haven't seen that actually.
It's on Netflix.
Yeah, you told me about
Unrated. There's 2 on Netflix. You got to see the extended unrated cut.
Okay.
They interview these guys in Indonesia who committed a genocide and are still recognized as heroes instead of like interviewing Nazis in Germany, where it's like they're fine. They walk amongst us,
right?
And they talk about how they kill people. He even takes you to a room where the guy killed someone and shows you exactly how he did it, where you put like the leather strap around his neck with the fucking stick and twisted it and twisted it and twisted it till the guy's...
He John Benet Ramsey'd him?
Dude, it's a fucked up documentary. And these people, and he interviews people who went through this thing and family of them simultaneously with people who did it and separately.
Wow.
It's fucked up. It is really fucked up. It's really long though. It's like 3.5 hours.
Okay.
So it's a commitment if you're going to watch it, to watch 3.5 hours of Indonesian with subtitles and shit.
Right.
But these people, they're gleeful. When they remember it, they're not playing the role of like the way a Nazi would have, like sorrow, like
right.
I was forced in my situation and blah blah blah. No, they remember it with a smile on their face.
Wow.
It's fucked up. Zoo. The guy who gets fucked to death by a horse.
I still need to see that.
It's not good. Cropsey, as you said. Ing and Lake. You know who Charles Ing and Leonard Lake are? Charles Ing and Leonard Lake were 2 guys who captured women and tortured them on video. Sexual torture, regular torture, all that shit. And there's a documentary that shows a lot of the footage. It doesn't show any of the killings and stuff like that, but it shows actual footage of the people and reactions from family and things like that. Like of them like saying like, you're my slave now and you're going to do this and you're going to do that. And the whole Charles Ing and Leonard Lake, it's to me one of the most fucked up, fascinating serial killer things ever. You should research them. It's fucking...
I've never even heard of them.
Dahmer Files. You ever seen
Dahmer Files is great. Yeah.
It's good. Sicko.
Sicko's really good.
That's fucked up. The guy self-mutilation.
Yeah,
guy.
Bob Flanagan with cystic fibrosis.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, Bob Flanagan was such a nice dude and such a good guy, and like he had this cultivated image of being the super masochist.
Yeah.
You know, and doing all... for people who don't know who Bob Flanagan was, he was a performance artist who would like cut himself and pierce himself and do all kinds of...
a bunch of fucking shit. Like
weird shit on stage.
Shit.
Yeah. And then... by the time it's over, you love him so much that like when he dies of cystic fibrosis, you want to cry. Like it's so sad. But then his last piece of performance art that he wanted to do, where they were going to make the cable network of his grave, of like the camera in there just filming him decomposing, and they couldn't of course get the backing for it because that's insane. But
Audrey and Daisy is a brand new Netflix documentary. They're pushing it so heavy, and it's about rape in like high school and cover-ups and shit like that, and it's fucked up. It's brand new. I only put it on the list because it is topical. It's brand new, so I haven't seen the Amanda Knox one. It's another one they're publishing right now, but it came up to me multiple times. You need to watch this. You need to watch this. It's a Netflix original documentary, but you need to watch. It's called Audrey and Daisy. The Bridge.
Yeah.
Documentary about all the people jumping off the fucking Golden Gate Bridge.
Yeah.
Showing actual suicides. Horrible. Another one, Jesus Camp. You ever see Jesus Camp?
Is that the one where they where they send the
Netflix?
kids and it's just the crazy brainwashing?
Yeah. Fucked up. Another one.
I watched that in Red State at the same time.
This one is not as disturbing as people cutting themselves and going all crazy, but there's a documentary on Netflix, which I give 5 stars, which terrifies me. It's called Trophy Kids. You ever heard of that?
Mm-mm.
It's about the parents and the kids of kids who are in sports. Kids who are in sports who have the parents that are the psycho parents.
Okay.
You need to do this, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, like the super intense overbearing.
It never shows it, but it's implied that they beat their kids when they, like, don't get the touchdown or don't do this or that. There's a golf one, a basketball, a football. There's all different ones. And it is fucking disturbing.
Wow.
These parents, I would kill. I would go to jail and spend my life in prison away from my family just to kill the fucking guy with the frosted tip hair. It'd be worth it. My family would understand.
Right.
Another one, The Man Who Ate His Lover. It's about Armin Muse, the Rodenberg cannibal. The guy who put those ads out to get some guy who wanted to be cannibalized, and they both eat his dick.
The dick was too chewy.
Yeah. Fuck. That's a fucked up documentary. Another one, Grizzly Man.
Grizzly Man's great.
It is great, but it's fucked up.
Yeah.
Eaten by a bear.
Yeah.
I love bears. I'm going to show you.
Nope.
And then Werner Herzog, destroy this footage. No one must see it. No one must hear it. And then my last one was your last one. Faces of Death and Traces of Death series. Disturbing as fuck.
Yeah. Old school.
We hope you guys have enjoyed this episode. Went a little long, but we're not going to hit this topic again. And we're going to go back to the meat and bones.
That's right.
Horror couples.
The blood and pus.
The blood and pus. The piss and shit. The semen and vaginal secretions.
Yes.
So,
and at the in our next episode, JD will be married.
I'll be married. Right now we're recording on October 12th. I'm getting married on October 15th. In this episode, we've hit a couple in the can. So you guys have been hearing shit we've been recording for a while. But our next episode, when we record, it'll be fresh.
Yeah.
I'll be a married man.
Yeah.
I'm going to film a disturbing documentary on my honeymoon.
So we may be recording from prison.
Breaking the hymen.
A honeymoon story. All right. Well, as H.P. Lovecraft once said, if it smells like fish,
throw the fucker back.
And document it.
And document it so we can watch it.
For posterity.
Behind closed doors. We can watch it while we touch ourselves.
Otter Pops.
Otter Pops.
People shot, keep violence back, and the children are hoping for a heart attack. Tonight the windows are watching, the streets are conspire, and the lamplight can't stop crying. If I could fly high above the world, what's too much living us? Spend what's stupidity. When I see him run a homicide, loving brothers, suicide, and active breeze who pick his hide and hide. The Lord is scratching at my door. My rolling papers got the scores. Obituary. Oh yeah, cock